Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices, and starting with the DAX here on the daily chart. And as you may know, we've been tracking two counts, one bullish and one bearish. So let's just go over that. So for the bullish count, we're looking for wave 3 here, and wave 3 could also be here too. If you got that, that's okay. Yeah, so the wave 3 to wave 4 here can be counted out as a triangle, as an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, a D wave that's not complete yet, and wave E here. We thought we may have had wave D finished here, but it looks like we've got one more little push up here to complete that. We'll need to talk about this little part in here too in regards to our bearish count and our bullish count. So the bullish count is, in a nutshell, looking at this as wave 4 low here, and wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C here for wave 2, and then looking up here in a bullish manner up through here. So both counts are valid and both counts are still in play, and we need to keep monitoring both of them. But once this wave D here finishes, then we can, and that one, let's go in and have a look, shall we? So on the 4-hour chart, which is still the triangle pattern here, so we're looking at it, wave C here, and then looking at all of this as the A wave now, the B wave and the C wave playing out here, and then a move down into this space for wave 4 here. So yeah, look, the bullish count too, we'll have a look at the bullish count, and then we can look at this here. But with this here, we're counting 5 waves up to the 2800 area here to complete, and then move down. So this is what the bearish count will do. The bullish count will only move down to the 61.8% retracement level of that low here to the high here, so in this space here somewhere, and then push up from there. So we need to keep an eye on both of those counts, but let's have a look at the bullish count here for the moment. Well, yeah, so looking at this as wave 4 low here, and wave 1 here, and wave A, B, and C here for wave 2, and then looking for higher ground. And we've started counting from this low here as wave 1 and 2, and then all the way up for 3 and 4 and 5 here. And wave 1, we're looking for a move back into wave 2 here. Didn't pull all the way back into this particular retracement level here, but I guess, you know, we've got good reason for that, and two of them are that we're working with 500 here, 5 being the second strongest number, so it'll always act as a good support, and it has tested that as support, so that's quite a critical thing. The other point here too, in the Elliott terms, we've got wave 2 here, so we're in the third wave of the third wave, and then once this one comes in, if that's going to be the case, there will be the third of the third of the third, and this should really move off in a strong way. And I think it's possible, you know, when we look at, if I can just show you one US chart here, and this is Berkshire Hathaway here, and the US banks are like this too, Citibank and Morgan's. They've basically had their ABC correction, and I should have got into Morgan's at 107. I was just half asleep, yeah. So for this sort of is, this is at 300,000 US dollars. That's major trading level 3 here, but this is a corrective pattern, and it's finishing now. As it develops support on here, this is the same pattern as the banks, and we can expect new highs to be made up here. So I'm kind of expecting that we can push higher for the US markets, even though we've got a bearish count on those guys as well. Yeah, we need to have a look at all the stocks that are driving these things. So in this case here, yeah, let's go in and have a look at this just on the hourly chart here. I guess, you know, unfortunately, it's not going to make a lot of difference for the time being with all of this. So this is the bullish count here from wave 2 here, up for wave 1 and back for wave 2 here. And in this instance here, we do have a 3-wave correction here. So the move up through here can be counted as 1 and 2 here, and 3 here and 4 here. This 4 here sitting back on the 12,650, which is a really important level, as I always harp on about, because it's the halfway mark between 5 and 8. But it's also the 38.2% retracement level taken from this low here to this high and back to here. So we should see a bounce off that for both of those reasons, as well, yeah. So then one more push to the upside here. I did have this in place here before, because moving above here would have breached the other particular wave count that we had. But really, if you're not in here, that's fine. And if you are in here, then stay in there and exit at the 12,800 or very close to it, because we've got old highs that never made it here before. So into these old highs here would be would be fine. The other point too is that once we get this here, then we can look for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave back into this particular level as well, the 12,650. And then we'll look at moving in here, because this is where, at this particular junction here, this is where it will separate itself of being the bearish market with wave D finishing up here. So let's just put in wave D here, just so to remind us here. I will darken it, light it out, because it's not part of this count, but this can be a top for wave D and then pulling back lower here for wave E here. So we really need to sort of just pay close attention here. I mean, I guess it's okay to sell it right on the 8 there if that takes your fancy, and you got a setup there, but I won't play it like that. What I'll do is I'll just wait to see. And what I'll wait to see is I'll see this is the 61.8% retracement level here. If I get 5 waves to the 61.8% level here, then we'll know that it's bearish. If we only get 3 waves to the 61.8% retracement level, then we'll know it's bullish, and then we can make a move in and start building into this length over here for this market. So let's just see how that pans out, and I'll just save that. So we'll have a look at the AEX next, and I've been sort of looking at a different sort of count here as well. So just on the bigger picture here, this is quite possible for this market. So this is a weekly chart, and it takes us back to the low of 2016 here. Okay, the GFC, was it? No, it's 209 back here for that wave 4. So 209 back here. So we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and we're looking for wave 5 to go up here. So this is quite a valid count. It's not a count that I've talked about, just maybe I've talked about this in here, but from wave 4 here, wave 1 and 2, and then clearly 1 and 2, and all the way up to 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave. In this case, looking at this just being sharp back here for wave 4 here, and then it's possible to have this from this low here, wave 1 on that high, then an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 2, all of it up here for wave 3, an A and a B and a C for wave 4, and then moving up here for wave 5. So we want to be looking at 5 waves moving up into this space to have a top here. Yeah, still got further to go here, but it's different from the DAX count as such, but yeah, I mean, it's possible. So let's just look at this on a daily chart here. A bit dodgy and all here. So we've been counting this in different ways. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit here. We don't need all of these here. Sometimes it just takes our eye away from the bigger picture. So what I was just explaining then is really having this wave 4 sitting here, and then having this up here as, if I'll just borrow these, then I'll just remove this here, using this as wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then looking at this as wave 3 here, and then having this as wave 4 here, and then borrow one of these here, and looking at this as wave 5 here. I mean, look, it may not be the case, but it was just something that caught my eye, and it's possible. So it would be taking, in fact, this wave 4 low here comes in on this low here and not this one here, and then from this low here that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, then an A and a B and a C here, and then the third wave here, A, B, C for the fourth, and then going up for the fifth here. So it's not such a silly count. It's there. We don't need those, but I'll just keep those. So I'll just move them out of the way here, just to clear that up. Yeah, so it's also possible to have more of a bullish count here as well, in line with some of the other markets. Copy this and have this up here as wave 1 as well. So I'll just save this. It's something that we can just think about a little bit. We've still got more to play out in here. Even though we're calling a triangle pattern in on the DAX as a possibility, I don't see it being a triangle pattern in this particular space, but I'm just going to leave those here for a bit. But our main job is tracking this little move up here, which is not finished. So I don't know what chart we're working on. We'll just have a look. Don't need all of that. So in terms of the triangle pattern, we can look at it as wave A, B, and then C here, finished here, okay? But otherwise we can look at it as more of a bullish count as wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then all of this is wave 3 here, and now looking for wave 4. So wave 4, this is a little bit messy here. There's one more little move here and then a move back here, but we shouldn't see a move below the 565 area now. Okay, I'll just save that. I've just got to keep the wave D count there, and I'll explain this in here when we get to it. So maybe 1 hour. So this is what we had before. We had wave 1 and 2, or A and B here, and we counted 1 and 2 and 3 here, and it was a little bit tricky in here. I couldn't kind of pin it down, but figured there can be another move up here. So in cleaning this up here, I'll just tidy this up a bit. So we have moved along over the last few sessions, which is good. So I don't know to put the wave 4 here or to put it here. That's what I'm unsure about, because that looks impulsive and that's there. So if that's there, then we have one more wave to the upside here, and that would be in line with the other market. So then that would take us to this point here. I'll put wave C there, but I want to put wave 3 in front of it. If that's the case, then we'll see after that, we'll see this come down here as wave 4 and then push up for wave 5. Okay. If I've made a mistake in here, again, if we see the 5-8 as a tested support here, then we'll go long from that point and we'll head higher from there. But otherwise, this is the pattern. This is the most logical pattern here. I mean, I can see from here we got in this wave from here, this point, we've got wave 1 here, then we've got the correction back here, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So I understand that we have the third wave here, fourth wave, and a fifth wave to come in here. May not reach all the way up depending on sentiment, but yeah. So that could also be a top in play here as well, because I just don't understand the structure here that clearly here, but I know the DAX has got one more move up, so we'll just take it off that for the time being. We'll remain bullish because we're in group 2 here. So if I can just remove that, group 2 is 65, 72, and 80, and while we're in here, then we need to remain bullish. If the 6.5 becomes the resistance, then we need to be on the bearish side from that point, and that's got nothing to do with the Elliott wave count. It's just got to do with the trading levels. So it's just a nice sort of security in the backdrop of the wave count. So I'll just leave that at that, and the FTSE. So the FTSE, I'm I've also sort of had problems with this as well. I wanted to also look at the bigger picture here as well. At this stage here, from the top here, this move down through here appears to be corrective, right? So that's cool, but so does this here. So it could be bullish. It's just going through an accumulation process, and it hasn't really distributed properly yet. So it can be bullish, but this we've been triggered in long here because this is what we've said before on the 7,650. It's a halfway mark between 8 and 5, the next levels, and so this is the midpoint of that, so it's important. And we could see that from this space here, it became the resistance, and then it tried to get back up, it failed, tried to get back up, failed, didn't, in the testing of it, it didn't support it, dropped it, and then finally found support here. So because it got support here, we needed to put our long trade here. Okay, now it's possible that, like the DAX, that it can make one more move up here and then it can fail from here. But at the same time, based on this ABC here and support on this level here and the setup here, we have to go with it, right? We can look to add to it later, but we need it there. I think that we've got 3 and 4 and 5 here, and like the AEX here, this also presents from 2016 here, wave 4. It also presents the case here that we've got wave 1 and 2 and 3 here. 1 and 2 here, and then all the way up to 3 here for this one. And then I've had this as the A wave, 3 waves for the B wave, and then down for the C wave as an expanded flat correction in wave 4 here. And then I was looking at this here of being wave 1 and 2 in here, wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and wave 5 coming up into this space. So it's possible for this is going to finish here as well. So we'll see how we go. The other point with this is that we could get an extension in the 5th wave, and we could look at this moving, much higher. But it doesn't matter. Our job at the moment is to trade what we see. I see a setup, and we'll take that, and then if it's correct, then we can trade it from the 7,700 area here all the way up to the 8,000 here. So that will give us a good 300 points. So it may not pan out, but we have to, take risks. So this is a bit of a risk, this particular one here. Where are we now? We're off to Italy. So in this case here, just we'd been fiddling around with this, as you know, and just going back over this, I don't fully understand this market. That's the one thing. I don't know all its little idiosyncrasies, as I've mentioned before, because we've just sort of taken it on board. But so my main problem is we've got wave 3 here, we got wave 4 here, right? And then we got wave 5 here. But this wave 5 here may not be the case, and it may be that we have this wave 5 much further down here. And this becomes all of just wave 1 here, and we come back up for wave 2 here, and then we come down for 1 and back for 2, down for 1 and back for 2, and keep on moving down. That's possible, and we've got a plan for that, and the plan was that we also have this bullish count. So if we consider wave 5 being in low here, then we can look at this being wave 1 here, and then an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for wave 2. Right, and then we push up from here. So we were looking, last time we spoke, we were looking for this to move up, and it's done that, so that's good. However, we're still not out of the woods yet, so we can, this low here, we can short that. It's not that simple to do that either, because if the market came down here, it's going to bounce off the old lows and get trapped and then have to hold a loss for a while. But we can adjust that in good time. So one of the first things that we want to do is if I take this high here and this low here, we can have a look on the bearish side, or even anywhere, either side of where we're going to get resistance from. We're going to get resistance from where it is now. So right here is the 50 and the 61.8% retracement level here. So let me just clean some of this up. We don't need that there anymore. So it's possible we thought that this down here can be wave 1, and then we come back up for wave 2, and then we go down again. Okay, so that's all doable, that's possible, but let's just clear this out of the way here, just tidy things up. Okay, so so far up here, going up here, I could count this as the A wave here, the B wave here, and then 5 waves up for the C wave of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So I don't have any little guys there, so let's just put those in there just so we know. I mean, it's also a good little learning process too, the way that we sort of tackle the complexities of these things. So an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So realistically, we could just come straight down from here. Okay. The other side of the coin here is that on the bullish side, we could look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then this 5 wave structure here as wave 3, and then this one here that pulls back as wave 4. And then we can look at having wave 5 come up here. So if we've got 5 waves coming up here, then we can look at that. I'll just grab 2 of these here. So this one here we call wave 1 because we'll have 5 waves there. But what that does is that gives us 5 waves here. Then we know that we're in a bullish mode, because then after the 5 waves, oopsie daisy, after 5 waves we'll get an ABC back. To, let's just grab that, put that on top there, grab this, 50-60% roughly in there, get rid of that. So basically we would be looking at some sort of A, B, and C pattern here, and then a move up here. So we're getting closer to our optimal time to get in. So once we've got, if I can just copy these here, that can become the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. So then this, if I can just even borrow this here, copy that, put that across the top of the A, the top of 1 and the B here. So that could be a trigger to get going here. And of course we'll also go long as soon as we get support here as well, right? On top of the 22,000, that's where we'll add in. In fact, this is where group 1 comes in, because we use, once we get support on the closest largest number, then we look for to build in. So we can build a trade on here. We get one on 100, some more on 200, on number 2 here, and then we've got to be a little bit patient with number 3, because the correction can be a little bit bigger and more complex here. But once that becomes support here, then we know that the market is going to leave the 22,000. The 3 here, what it does, it severs it's the balance line between the buyers and the sellers, the weight, or I call it the magnet of the largest number here. That number 3 with support will separate all the orders being pulled back to this number here, and everybody will start thinking of number 5 up here. So when they get to 3, they'll be thinking of 5 and not back here. That's how important that number 3 is here. So we're not there yet, and we don't know if we're, so just to recap all this, we don't know if we're bearish and we're going to be coming straight down from here, and if so, we'll look to take this low out, but we've got time because it will bounce off here and come back and test it, and we can get in. But otherwise we should see a move up here and then that will give us our 5 waves up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for wave 1, and then we won't bother about chasing that. We'll wait for the A, the B and the C, and then we'll become interested in it here. Okay, so we're getting closer. Like I mentioned before, it's a process sometimes, but this is a good thing about the trading levels. So number 2 here, we can see that that there's a correction here. This looks bullish corrective to me. This 5 waves will give us the evidence here of that, but a failure from here will crush all of that up, and we'll be on the bearish side from that point. So getting close, getting interesting, getting exciting. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. Cheers.